Yeah. Deep-rooted conversations. Real talk. Real roots. Real us. Souls. Soft rain. No middleman between the truth. I can see it in your eyes, you got it. Pain got your heart moving cautious. Different worlds with the same kind of scars here. Different roads but somehow we still crossed it. Mad cause the world never listened right. Mad cause your truth always turns.
Disclaimer. This broadcast is intended for commentary, discussion, and entertainment purposes only. All topics and statements are based on publicly available information, including news reports, social media content, and third-party sources, which may include allegations or unverified claims. The views expressed are opinions and should not be interpreted as confirmed facts. This content is not intended to harm, defame, misrepresent any individual, organization, or entity. Viewer discretion is advised.
Sometimes the loudest room still don't have the answers. Everybody got a microphone now, but who's still listening for the truth? How much does justice cost? How many tears before something gets lost? Mama's still searching, daddy's still strong. Whole world talking, but something feel wrong. Everybody came when the cameras roll, but who gon' stay when the story gets old? If truth got a price, tell me what does it cost? We searching for Nolan, can't let him get lost. Another interview, another city, another person saying that they standing with me. Pastor got the questions, family got the pain, but every time we listen, something seems to change. Lawyers in the picture, cameras in the room, everybody promising the truth is coming soon. Then another voice comes speaking from the side. Now we gotta separate the feelings from the lies. I ain't choosing teams, I'm choosing what is real. Cause grief can make you question everything you feel, and fame can make a tragedy become somebody's stage, while a family's still waking up, carrying that weight. So tell me who stays when everybody leaves? Who wants the truth even when it hurts what they believe? How much does justice cost? How many tears before something gets lost? Mama's still searching, daddy's still strong. Whole world talking, but something feel wrong. Everybody came when the cameras roll, but who gon' stay when the story gets old? If truth got a price, tell me what does it cost? We searching for Nolan, can't let him get lost. Same soil, different roots, we see it different ways. But facts don't need permission and truth don't need praise. Don't care about the messenger, show me what you know. Don't give me another headline, give me where the evidence goes. Justice ain't a tour bus rolling city to city. Justice ain't a hashtag just because it sound pretty. Justice is the answer when the questions get hard, when nobody gets protected just because of who they are. So when the lights fade and the interview's in, when today's biggest story ain't trending again, remember one young man is the reason we're here, and the people who loved him still deserve something clear. Maybe justice ain't loud. Maybe truth don't need a stage. Maybe the hardest thing we'll ever have to do is accept the truth when it doesn't look like the story we already believed. Same soil, different roots. Until the answers come, keep asking.
You muted.
I am muted. Good evening, y'all. Welcome in to Same Soil, Different Roots. Before we officially get started tonight, we want to invite y'all on Sunday, 5 p.m., right back here to the Raw Society Network, Souls of Thought page, and over on Facebook as well. We have a live show to support the Lancaster family. Um, Sophia Lancaster, Malachi's mom, is going to be with us explaining his story. He was unfortunately unalived in an incident in Gainesville, Florida, back in December of 24. The investigation is inconclusive, and there's going to be a ton of information that we give y'all. Miss Sophia is going to explain his story, and we want to just put that out there so y'all can set your clocks for Sunday at 5 so we can get support the Lancaster family and hoping that Florida reopens his case. So yeah, make sure y'all do that. We'll see y'all on Sunday at 5 p.m. sharp, right back here at the Raw Society Network, Soul of Thought, and Raw Society Network on Facebook as well. So let's get into it, y'all. Tonight, we're not here to tell you what to believe. We're here to ask you whether everything we've been told still fits together. Nolan Wells' parents sat down with Pastor Jamal Bryant, continuing their public fight for answers and justice. But while that conversation is happening, another voice enters the picture. The Cajun Navy is speaking out about its experience surrounding the case, including comments involving Ben Crump. And that raises a bigger question. Are we watching a movement towards justice, or are we watching the original narrative begin to unravel? Because there's a difference between seeking answers and protecting a narrative. There's a difference between raising awareness and creating a tour around tragedy. And when justice is the destination, every interview, every public statement, every contradiction, and every unanswered question deserves scrutiny, no matter which side it comes from. So tonight, we're going to put emotion on the side. We're going to put assumptions on the other, one side, and assumptions on the other. And right down the middle, we'll follow the facts. Same soil, different roots. This is Town Hall number 5, episode 15. Is this tour worth the cost of justice? So let's talk about it.
Yeah. Deep-rooted conversations. Real talk. Real roots. Real us. Souls. Soft rain. No middleman between the truth. I can see it in your eyes, you got it. Pain got your heart moving cautious. Different worlds but the same kind of scars here. Different roads but somehow we still crossed it. Mad cause the world never listened right. Mad cause your truth always turned.
Joke and say I'm a transplant. So I was born in the Philippines. That's where my mom's family is from. But my father's family is from Mississippi.
Okay.
And so, but I've been here long enough. But I always like to say I'm a transplant.
No, I got it. I wanted to ask, because people have a different perspective of Mississippi historically, and not in actuality. Yeah. And so when we hear about Mississippi, my head is going directly to Mississippi burning. I'm going to turn left and deal with Medgar Evers. I'm going to turn right and deal with Emmett Till. And I wanted to ask, in 2026, what is it like being Black living in Mississippi?
I would say that you would hope that in 2026, right? You would hope that racially things would improve.
Yeah.
And this is where I find, because I personally love history.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite subjects. But when you have a state like Mississippi that has such a complex history, especially when we start talking about race, it's one of those things you cannot forget, right? But that's also why it's important to teach actual history. So then we know, okay, where are we going from here?
Yeah.
How can we improve things? Because when we try to simply just remove things or not think about it, and that's a whole other issue, is because it doesn't affect me, I don't worry about that.
Yes.
But that's the thing when in the Bible, when it says love thy neighbor, right? That's how you love your neighbor, truly, is being concerned about their well-being, their health, things that they need.
Yeah.
So in a state like Mississippi that has the history it has, sometimes, you don't want to think negatively, right? You always want to, and maybe this is just the way I was raised.
Yeah.
You want to try to be positive and see the good in things, but there's always that little part of you that's like, I really hope this isn't what I know it could potentially be.
Right.
And so in raising our children, we were very open and honest about those things, especially because the way I was raised. So my mother's Filipino, but my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, she is half white.
Oh, wow.
So now that I'm kind of getting this blowback and people are saying, oh, you're racist. I'm like, well, first of all, do you understand the definition of racism
Yeah.
and what comes with that? But then two, again, I was raised that, hey, and this is a Mississippi. So, the Bible thumpers.
Yes.
Heavy into church when we were younger. And it was always one of those, love and show respect until that person shows you otherwise. But also to having that discernment.
Yeah.
And that's the thing when you're building relationships, right? You can't just take that person for face value. You have to understand who they are, not just, on the outside, but spiritually. Like where are they at? And those are the things that he and I have tried to teach our kids. We've instilled in our children. But of course, when children get older, they're going to make their own decisions. But it's the hope that they're always going to do what's best for them.
Yeah. You all have how many children?
So we have 6 children.
6. The youngest is how old?
15.
15. So walk me through, because so much of the focus has been on the two of you. And people are not really saying that this is not just a son.
Yeah.
It's also a brother.
Absolutely.
And so walk us through how the siblings are dealing with this, not just in the grief, but because they are of age, contending with social media. Are y'all having to pull them back?
So I'm so glad you asked this because in passing, of course, we kind of see little comments and a lot of people are like, well, what about the siblings? You guys don't ever, but this is the thing. And that's done, intentionally.
Yeah.
Our goal is to always protect them, even though 3 of them are adults.
Yeah.
We still want to provide that protection.
That's great.
They try to stay away from social media.
Yeah.
One of our kiddos is in therapy. The oldest is in therapy and kind of just dealing with those emotions because, again, they lost a brother. That wasn't just their brother. That was their friend. That was the person, that kept some of their secrets,
How's it been for the youngest going back to school? So it's one thing to be able to.
So for them, we've, one question we ask, but we don't ask like every day is, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
I like to ask, is there something we can do?
Yeah.
Is there some place we can take you? Is there something you need us to get for you?
Yeah.
Because sometimes simply just asking, are you okay? Or how are you feeling? Because children at that age, they can't always fully express themselves verbally on what they're feeling.
Yeah.
So, asking what can we do for you sometimes is a little bit better because that gives them an outlet. But I'm gonna let Mo answer.
Come on, Mo.
So I want to stop there before Mo gets to his conversation. She never answered the question that Pastor Jamal asked her. And tonight we're here to talk about a lot of information that's coming out, a lot of things that are going on, because I'm starting to feel that we're losing the sight of justice for Nolan. And Rain, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Super Matt, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong. That's why I skipped always 12 minutes in, because the first 12 minutes they were talking about how they met, her working at a cell phone store. I'm trying to see how do these small micro conversations get us to the justice for Nolan. Like at this point, are we just doing tour stops, or like what is this? Like what are we doing here? Like I'm just trying to understand, because she never answered a question about what racism looks like in Mississippi.
No.
She really went more into that she's not Black, and never really got to an answer. So just trying to see where we are with this. Are we seeking justice, or are we now creating small mini documentaries? What are we doing?
In my opinion, I think that
this tour for justice that they're going on, speaking of different cities, bringing light to their situation, or trying to bring light to their situation, I truly believe that they feel that this will bring them justice. And unfortunately, I don't think it will. They can go all over the world, United States, and this alone is not going to bring them that closure that they need. The closure that they need is from Mississippi. The closure that they need is from the investigation. That's the closure they need. They can do this all day long. There's been countless of other families who lost their children to injustice, or lost their children to circumstances that really wasn't what's the word I'm looking for, that wasn't justified, or circumstances they didn't know how they passed. There's dozens of families out there that still want justice for their children as well. And I understand, as a mother, I understand her wanting to be out there in the limelight, hoping and praying that this could impact somebody else as well, give other families hope as well. But in the long run, in the end game, is this really doing them justice? The only closure that they're going to feel is after the investigation is over, after the grand jury does their due diligence, does what they need to do on their end. And in the end of that, they still might not be satisfied, because it still may not be the answer that they need to get closure, Yeah. So maybe they're doing this as a way of grieving as well. I'm not for certain. As a parent, if I were in the same situation, I'm not for certain how I would go along in this process.
Yeah.
Because I can't fathom this, at all, and I hope I never have to experience burying my child. But it's just, it's a tough situation. Sometimes they might be trying to hide them behind a superficial facade too. And it's tough. It's tough.
Okay. We're going to get to some of the chats, and then we're going to play some more here.
Supermax said, y'all, therapy tonight, 333 therapeutic. Burying my unc in the AM, loving the RSN, respect. Condolences, Supermax.
Yeah. Let us know if you need anything, big dog.
Absolutely. Yep. Condolences, Supermax. Miles said, good evening. Welcome in, Miles. We appreciate you being here. Penny says, shouldn't you be teaching your children how to effectively verbalize themselves and not just cater to the assumption of how they feel? That as well. And she said they had 6 altogether, right? And 3 are grown.
Yeah.
So the 3 that are not grown, they're missing out on you in the grieving process while you're doing this tour as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying not to do the normal what souls do, because I heard a lot of things. I think it's a lot of stuff that we overlook just due to how people feel about certain things. But she made a statement here that her and her husband said opposite on the last interview. She said when kids get older, they're going to make whatever choices they want to make. When they were on the stage last week with the other people, they said their son would never do something like that. And I think that's why I said, I think we have to get back to justice for Nolan.
Yeah.
Because now you're doing so many interviews that the wordplay is going to change eventually. People who are really concerned about justice are going to start really looking like, okay, what is this about? What are we really seeking today? What are we doing today? I literally heard y'all say my son would never do this. And then right now with Pastor Jamal Bryant, you said when kids get older, they'll make their own choices. We're just there to try to make sure that we're there to support them.
Yeah. Souls with that deep thinking brain. Penny said prayer, Supermac. J Lord. That's how she knew how to get into Nolan's phone.
I don't know. We probably missed that, but welcome in, J Lord. I know you're still in here. Hit the like button. We appreciate you. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button.
That
Most importantly, hit the subscribe button. Wherever platform you're watching on, hit the subscribe button. It helps a lot.
Yeah, and put on those notifications so you know when we go on live. Supermax said, oh, wait, they don't. And that's the point. It's already out there. Penny said, I think she doesn't think she needs to answer that racism because she believes it's obvious that they can't be racist due to their minority status. J. Laura said the investigation will be completed when it's finished with the grand jury. Yeah. Miles said fundraising, maybe. Possibly be. Penny said, but I think they see the writing on the wall that the investigation has made its mind up and that they may not get to a grand jury. And they are just capitalizing off the 15 minutes, lesser of the two evils.
I feel you.
Jen said, thought the same thing, Rain. You think you know until it happens to you. Yeah. Yeah. Supermax said, Penny, strength is not requiring your support. Realness is being able to recognize you are not the last of the dying breed, just the newest, latest. In tears.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Penny said, facts. Girl Dad cooking up deliciousness. Welcome back. He said, hit that like button if you haven't. I seen some of that food over there. It looks good.
What's up?
Yeah, I ain't deep though, but I did scroll and I said, ooh. Penny said, this is what happens when you don't have an effective media strategy. But how can common folk have an effective media strategy? She probably didn't think that this was going to get national attention either.
Well, she's going to talk about it, right? She's going to talk about doing this interview that, you know, Crump and them never reached out to them and how it all happened. So
yeah. Jen says to some it may be she's doing too much, to others she may not be doing enough. Yeah. J. Laura said the three oldest are from Briscoe and Nolan is Wells. Rest in peace, Nolan.
Oh, shout out to you, J. Lord.
Supermax said your regular thing is the thing, souls needing the same energy regularly. Not fate for now. Is love to the RSN. No extras respect.
Yeah, I just try to, you know, Supermax, you know, I don't want people to feel like I'm not like empathetic to what's going on. But I just think we have to be very aware of everything we say is being scrutinized. And it's like, just at least be consistent if you're going to do your tour or whatever.
Right. J. Laura said, in Jackson County, all unnatural deaths go to an investigative grand jury. Penny said, Rain, they're not common now with Crump and all. You could probably say that at the beginning, but not now. Yeah. Superman said, Penny always chat 333 moral leadership, a test when I catch the live.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, y'all, we're going to play a little bit more here.
As far as the youngest, he's been busy. So school has started.
Yeah.
They're practicing early in the morning, so that keeps them busy. So school and football is keeping them busy. And he's more focused now because over the summer, him and Nolan, their bond got stronger because they both play the same position, receiver.
Yeah.
So Nolan was teaching him stuff and he was understanding the things that he was teaching them to get better. So his focus has gotten laser sharp. He really wants to do good, not just for himself, but to make his brother proud. And he's constantly telling his mom that I'm gonna do it for you and you guys and Nolan. So he's really focused on I have no doubt in my mind, he's gonna be great.
So that all the kids aren't by him then?
I'm assuming not.
Okay.
Great.
No,
so like I said, it's this fire inside of him that burns, that he wants to be the best. He wants to be better than his brother, but that's kind of like iron sharpens iron.
No,
you know, the competition makes them better. And with this happening,
play sports?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I played football all my life. Actually, I was told that when I was born, I was tossed through the house like football.
Yeah.
You know, because all my uncles played and they just kind of tossed me out of the house. My mom playing catch. So I've been playing football all my life. Just kind of following the family tradition. I had 3 uncles to play in the NFL. So, you know, I didn't make it to the NFL. I went to some camps and everything, but the knowledge that I learned, I was passing it down to my kids.
No,
so they would have a better chance because I didn't have no one there telling me do this. I had to learn on my own.
Yeah.
But with me, I was passing what I learned over the years down to them to better their chances.
That's beautiful. I think the only thing that has outraged me more than this tragedy itself is the treatment of you.
Yes.
I'm dizzied by it. So that, I mean, it's compounding the pain.
Yeah.
To have one, the loss of a child, two, to be thrust into cameras on a daily basis. You know, people got an attitude, if you eat ice cream, how dare you eat ice cream?
How
now?
dare I go to the store?
Yeah.
How dare I smile?
Right.
Yeah. And I wanted to jump around for just a moment and talk about how this is impacting you professionally, outside of just being a parent. Now everybody is on Yelp giving nurse reviews. I don't even know where this has come from.
Mm-hmm.
It's
when you first saw it, what was going through your mind?
It's funny because, and this is what I mean by discernment.
Yes.
I have always been someone who was just very in tune, not just with myself, but people, situations. And that night before it hit the internet, we were in bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, they're going to come for my career.
You said that.
I told them, I was like, they're going to come for my career. I don't know if it is going to be now, in a few weeks, in a few months. I said, but I'm telling you, they are going to come for my career. And when I say they, I'm not talking about any specific group of people, just people who don't like the fact that we are just wanting answers.
Yes.
We're just wanting the truth.
Can you imagine to be insulted that you want answers and closure about your son?
I say it all the time. All we did was ask a question.
Yes.
We asked a question that any good, loving, caring parent or parents would ask if something like this happened. I would hope, and I have said this every interview, press conference, I would hope that, God forbid, if you were in this situation, that you would ask the same question. You would want to know, because when you are left with your child is gone.
Yes.
We can't answer what happened, when it happened. We can't answer any of these questions. It's hard to cycle through the stages of grief, and you get stuck.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's all we did was ask a question. And I have, really just tried to mentally, but you can't mentally prepare yourself for any of this, because at the end of the day, and I've said it before, we didn't ask for this.
Yeah. Shock and awe.
We did not ask to lose our child. We have not asked for people. Let me say this. We have not begged, because that's another thing. We have not begged anyone to donate to the GoFundMe. What we have said is that if you can, great. Thank you. We appreciate it, because what people don't understand is situations like this, there's so much that comes with it. Elmore and I have not been to work since early July.
Yeah.
That first week, we've not been to work. And I'm going to be honest with you, the profession that I have sometimes is emotionally heavy.
Yeah.
So now I have to kind of sit within myself and be like, okay, are we really ready for this? Are we ready to go back to that life? But it's been that hurt. Seeing it.
I can't imagine. Mo, I'm scrolling through Instagram the other week, and they even created AIs of you buying sports cars.
Oh, we just saw that. I was
Just saw
like,
that.
what? That doesn't even look. No, I'm happy with my little car. Like, I'm not trying to.
But the intentionality of wickedness,
Well, absolutely. It's
to
disgusting.
give a bad portrayal is something I've never seen
No,
at this level and at this height. And the end game, I think, is just intimation.
absolutely.
And a lot of times when you hear cyberbullying, I'm thinking it's middle schoolers. So cyberbullying is in high school, but not for adults who are grieving.
And I've never, cases where and we were just talking about this, cases similar to ours, I've never seen this. I've never seen that. And it's, the cyberbullying component of it.
Yeah.
And so, and I hate to say it, but it's so sad. Like, sometimes it takes you to a place. And so as I'm sitting here experiencing this, I think about kids, particularly in our community. Her name was Aubrey Wyatt. I think about those situations and I'm like, my God, feel like sometimes I'm barely holding on.
Wow.
This, just thinking from a child's perspective who hasn't been through life, who hasn't been through anything, to know that they would have to endure something like this, because this stuff is taught. You're not And that's why as parents, we have to be careful because you guys, this is not cool. Like bullying other people. If you have children, your children are going to see this at some point.
Oh, no, for sure.
And then that carries over to, you know, how they're going to behave and how they're going to treat others.
Yeah. What, I lost my mother almost 2 years ago.
I'm so sorry.
And as a pastor, I had to wrestle with why God allowed in his permissive will. My mother worked in church her whole life. If you wanted a prayer through, take it to my mother. Yeah. And then you add to that, my mother passed 45 days before my wedding.
Oh.
And I cried at my wedding. I told my wife, I had one.
So we're going to stop it there because I don't know if you guys were able to see the whole interview, but this was pretty much the atmosphere of the interview. It was not about Nolan Wells. It was about everything else that was going on. Just like when y'all heard Pastor Jamal Bryant say he's baffled by what's going on with these parents. The same thing happened to Carmelo Anthony parents. People were accusing them of buying homes, buying cars. That's pretty typical of what's been going on in most of these very visible cases. With that being said, the biggest thing tonight is all about, and we posed this question before on Town Hall. What does justice look like? Like, what does justice look like? How long should people have to be so empathetic to a point where it's like, okay, but we're not talking about Nolan. Like, none of this talks about Nolan.
No.
And then if somebody does investigation work like we have, but we're not going to put it out there, we can, like, we know about the family, then we in the wrong. But it's like, well, y'all not talking about Nolan no more. Like, you're not talking about Nolan. Like, we're up here now just throwing things at the wall, hoping it stick or like. And the craziest thing is this: Nolan was a great young man. Like, we're not even fighting against the character of Nolan. Like, you don't have to go on no campaign talking about how great of a person he was. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
No one has said there's not a negative thing the world has said about Nolan. No one. This tour does not need, like, he doesn't need any character references. He was a great young man on the verge of going to the next level in football. So it comes a point where we have to ask what is going on here. You know, you stop in Georgia, you're doing his birthday celebration at a AME's church, singing happy birthday on the stage. Pastor Jamal Bryant somehow spoke at that event that's not even his church. Then the next day you're on an interview with him. Like, I guess like Rain and Jen said, maybe everybody agrees differently. Maybe everybody does things differently. But my biggest thing is, like, where's the justice? Where's the justice piece? That's where I come in to ask the questions. Like, when you guys come here and watch Miss Lancaster on Sunday, you will see what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like, we got to talk to her already. You will see what it sounds like for a mother who's been fighting for years now for justice.
2 years.
And it looks totally different. Mm-hmm. It sounds different. She carries herself differently. Like, it's levels to everything. So we just got to start being very transparent at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything, Rain?
No, we can move forward.
All right. I'm going to get to some of these right here.
Penny says, so we championing other causes. Just 2 minutes, not a second more. So Penny laughing at me. Matt said, this superior content, gut-wrenching heartbreak requires levity. 333, the livest chat. J. Lord said, I've watched it 3 times, laughing.
Yeah.
Penny said, do you think they would have Publix? What do I mean, Penny?
He talking about in Florida or in Georgia. That's a store.
Yeah, Publix. We have Publix in Georgia and Alabama. Penny said, do you think they would say they accepted a deal to settle an NDA? Ooh.
I don't know. You talking about some Colin Kaepernick now?
J. Lord said, Nolan's death is a loss for society. That's a fact.
We agree with you.
It's just me. Said, yeah, didn't get that. Welcome in. It's just me. J. Lord said, it's not about justice. It's about something much bigger. Supermax said, so y'all live at the same time? Wow. So Penny said, like a Kaepernick situation.
Oh, man. I ain't even see that. We said the same thing.
Penny said, they changing the channel quick.
Yeah. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. We're just here to bring y'all facts, bring y'all details, share the information that we're getting throughout the night. We're going to keep reminding you guys of the Lancaster family. They will be on Same Soils, Different Roots this Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will ask everybody who comes into the town halls to come and support this family. And it does have nothing to do with monetary, just coming to support, come to hear her story. This story has a lot of loose ends. I think you guys will be very intrigued about this story, and it has a lot of similarities. So I will highly encourage everybody to come out and support. Yes, great mother. We got to speak to her. It was yesterday. We got to speak to her yesterday for a while. So she will be up again Sunday. So just make sure you guys can come up and support, man, even if it's just stopping in, throwing some prayer hands, whatever you're going to do. But she has an amazing story, amazing heart. You can actually tell.
Yeah,
And she's truly just seeking justice. She has no, like, it's like no ill will at all. Like, it's
right.
like a pure, you guys will get to see it. So
she wants closure and a conclusion.
That what she said. She just wants closure and a conclusion. It's a lot of things that aren't making sense, aren't adding up. So and that's what she's seeking. So that's her form of justice. So shout out to the Lancaster family. The mother, Sophie, will be here on Sunday. So we're going to move into our next town hall. The next town hall is going to take us over to oh man, I thought I had so it's going to take us over to Officer Tatum. Again, I know everybody's not a fan of Officer Tatum, but this interview actually tells us a lot. This is going to be coming from the Cajun Navy, opens up about their communication with the Wells family and how things changed as Ben Crump was introduced to the situation. So some good information here, and we're going to go ahead and get it lined up for y'all. So here we go.
And that was presented and it was rejected. Easiest about this as it relates to the Nolan Wells case, I had no idea what the Cajun Navy was. At first, I was like, is this a part of the Navy? And then I realized very quickly this may be a private organization that does good work. But can you explain to the audience what exactly is the United Cajun Navy and what's your job description in that?
Sure, absolutely. First of all, thanks for having me. United Cajun Navy, we're a nonprofit. We're a 501c3. Easiest way to explain it is disaster response, relief, and recovery organization. So what I specialize in is search and rescue, search and recovery operations. I help find missing people. But outside of that, our organization does a lot of blue sky stuff. We do food drives. We do toy drive. Last year was close to 600,000 toys we handed out. So we really run the gamut from disasters and blue skies. Community involvement's the biggest thing, the easiest way to explain it.
That's awesome. And it's all volunteer work, or how's that work?
All volunteers, man. 100% volunteer.
Wow, that's incredible. And so as it relates to the Nolan Wells case, can you walk me through when you were first notified and what were the first few things that you did as a response? Sure. So late that night, early Sunday morning, I received a Facebook Messenger call from somebody that had been noticing it on Facebook on what was going on with is this July the 4th? In the post about. Oh, July the 4th? It'd be early morning, July 5th. Early morning, okay. The 5th. So early morning there, and I started reading into it, right? There were some Facebook posts. Then I got a call from Miss Christine. Christine called me up. I'm thinking it was 7:30-ish, 7:45 that morning, and we discussed what was going on. So I asked a lot of questions, physical description, and I asked some hard questions, mental health crisis, any kind of habits, anything like that. And basically what she told me is that her son had gone out the day before that on the 4th with a bunch of his friends. That's key, with a bunch of his friends, and they were partying on Horn Island.
and it's a big, and he didn't return home. So what from that phone conversation is I quickly say, hey, let's memorialize everything, right? Ask her to put it all to me in a text message. So from there, we communicated both in phone and on text. But if there was anything important that needed to be relayed, I wanted to make sure that I memorialized it, documented it, and I'd send a text message back. So starting that Sunday morning, the text messaging and communication started. My organization, we have a lot of volunteers in that area, and my vice president was there as well. And we started mobilizing people quickly to go out to Horn Island to start looking. We had some surface vessels, some boats, and drones.
Y'all check this out. If you need custom shirts, hats, or gear, check out Pure Choice Apparel. And check us. Got on the search, or did she say, hey, he's a model citizen, which is what I've heard, and everything was good. He didn't come home.
Absolutely. So she didn't say that there were any mental health crisis or any mental health issues going on, and explained to me about her son. Again, model citizen, great kid. Everybody's all-American, the guy everybody wanted to hang out with. Did say that he had been drinking the day before, but he was out with a bunch of his friends and didn't make it back home.
And the initial search effort, what did that look like? You said you guys had boats, you had people in the air. Was there any people physically on the island? Were there people in the water? Can you explain, what that initial effort was?
Sure. So we had boats that were in the water, and we sent people to Horn Island with a drone as well to start looking at that area. So immediately around Horn Island with surface vessels, what we call boats, as well as boots on the ground to start, the aerial search with drones. Now, I did reach out to the Coast Guard and ask them if they needed any air support as well. And they said that they had rotary wing in the air. I did have some fixed were available. They told me it was Jackson County Sheriff's Office, that it was their area and their jurisdiction. And they said they didn't need any additional aircraft. So we moved forward with the plan that we had with boats and boots on the ground there.
And while you guys were on the ground in the water, did you see anything that was concerning? Did you see anything that was an indication of an altercation or any signs of Nolan or anything in that initial search?
None at all. But what we did do, I put out a post, right? So we use social media. It's a huge tool. What we do is I'll make a video and have a missing persons poster. And I put that poster out, and we started to receive some phone calls and some messages. There were some people who said they may have seen him on land. This was later on Sunday, that they may have seen him in some of the surrounding municipalities. So again, not knowing what happened, not having any clue, we sent some people to check out those areas as well. But we continued our vessel search and our search in the water as well as on Horn Island. But moving forward from there is I started a very succinct operational plan to search later on in that next day that Jackson County Sheriff's Office was aware of.
Did you have any communication with Miss Christine after you guys have done the search? I know you had initial communication when she asked for your help, and did you talk to her or communicate with her during the search or there right after the search?
Absolutely. We communicated all day. And I've got the text messages where we talked via text as well as where we spoke on the phone. So I kept her up to speed on what was going on, and she would feed me a little bit of information throughout the day. And again, it was in text. And as that search started to wind down, we again had another conversation. And I explained to her, hey, here's what's going on. As it starts to get dark and dusk comes in, we demobilize, and then we start planning for that next day.
And did you get any indication that she was concerned about race or it being a factor in this or foul play or anything like that? Did you, when you first talked to her, because this is fresh, I don't think the media even had an understanding of how she felt being presented to them. You were one of the first people in this intimate time that she was searching for her son, had a chance to communicate with her. At this point in your communication with her, was there any indication that she was concerned about a racial dynamic or any foul play, or was it just a mom looking for, trying to find out what happened to her son?
It was a frantic mother worried about her child. And that's no indications of race, no indications of foul play. She reiterated a couple of times, Brandon, that, he went out with his friends. So it really made me to believe that it was a cohesive unit, a group of guys who went out to go party on the 4th of July on Horn Island. But again, no initial accusations of foul play or anything to do with race, not at all.
And so you guys concluded your search, I believe, the day that he was discovered. Did you guys discover him? Did law enforcement discover him? And then walk me through what happened next with notifying Miss Christine and the family.
Sure. So the next day is really key. That Monday morning, we were communicating back and forth, and I had a fixed wing that was going up. It's an airplane at about 6:35 that morning, and I offered for her to go in the plane. I said, look, if you want to go up in the plane, the offer is there. I don't recommend it, but I need to at least express that offer to you and make it there for you. She declined that request. So I'm on my way there to the boat launch where the Tactical Operations Center was at Mars Lake. And she sent me a message that morning and said, where are we going to meet? As soon as we're done with the data dump on the phone, we'll meet up with you. So that made me believe that, hey, they were going to the police department, whatever it was, to do that data dump on the phone. And then we got the call, right? So somewhere, it was after there, I was 15, 20 minutes away from the boat launch. The sheriff's department called me, and then Christine called me right after that. They had obviously first notified Christine. But when she called me, I told her, hey, I'm 15 minutes out. Meet me at that boat launch. And we did. She met me there. When she pulled up, she came running to me, and it was one of those moments that you'll never forget. This was a grieving mother who knew in her heart that was her son that had been found. Gave me a big hug, man, a big bear hug. Mr. Elmo was there, and we sat in the parking lot. We sat on the ground in that parking lot for 15, 20 minutes, and we were exchanging tears, if I could put it that way. It was a super emotional time, and I knew that was probably the beginning of the hardest days of her life, right there sitting in that parking lot.
Wow. When you talked about the phone, did she indicate to you at any point that there was anything suspicious in the phone, or she just in, kind of a passing conversation that she mentioned she was going to send the phone to be downloaded? So did she mention anything other than the phone being downloaded to you about the cell phone, or whether or not she believed it was a crime committed in it or not?
So didn't say anything about a crime, but we did discuss the phone that Sunday. So the day before he was found, she called me up and we had a discussion about the phone. She said, hey, Josh, they want the phone. And she said she wasn't too comfortable with sending it to him or giving it or turning over the phone. And here's what I told her. I said, look, that phone was your son's phone, and you got every right to turn it in and to video everything that they're doing with the phone. Be there for it. If you don't trust the process or some concerns, get your phone and video what they're doing. If you're concerned about losing data, there it is. She seemed to be comfortable with that when I told her that. Look, I'm not law enforcement whatsoever. But I know that she's going through a hard time, and I just wanted to let her know that every part of the step with anything that she has, for her to document that she's afraid of losing some of the data or the integrity of that data.
Right. So in the early stages of the phone, she did express, without any coercion whatsoever that you know of, that she believed that there may have been reason for her to turn that phone over.
Absolutely.
And then Nolan was recovered. You met with her. You guys exchanged tears and I guess sadness for Nolan, who was from all accounts an incredible young man. And then what happened next? Did you guys ever go to actually identify the body, or what happened after that?
So this is a key part, right? So she asked me to be a part when they go to the coroner's office. So they didn't bring his body to that location. They brought his body to a secondary location, as the hospital, the coroner's office. So she asked me to be a part of it. Of course, yes, ma'am. Anything I can do to help you. So we got in a convoy and we went that way. We went to the coroner's office, sat down at the table. It was myself, the family, Miss Christine, Mr. Elmore, the coroner. I was right by her. Coroner comes in, and of course it's difficult. It's a difficult conversation for anybody to have. I'm sure you're familiar with them. The coroner said, he believes that it's Nolan. 99.9% sure, whatever the stat was, but he still wanted to get a swab or get some DNA so they could double check. Said, according to the appearance in the photographs you've seen, it appeared to be Nolan. But he also said something very key, that there was no initial appearance of foul play. So to me, immediately what I thought was, no blunt force trauma, nothing visible right there, right? And obviously there needed to be a further investigation, but the coroner did say that. The questions were asked, just some, hey, can we see him, blah, 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 these things. But also the question I asked was, hey, Mr. Coroner, can you please explain the process of how it's going to move forward? It's just one of those things that the family needs to understand. And what he did was explain how they're going to move Nolan to the crime lab so they could fulfill all the autopsies and everything that way. I was not a part of identification of the body. We immediately left. So if at some point that evening later on, we went to their house after the coroner's office, if they went back to identify, I don't know. I wasn't, but the immediate meeting with the coroner's office, there was no identification by myself or the family that I was aware of.
And based on, at this point, from all of your engagement with the family and also with elements of law enforcement, did you have any concerns of impropriety, meaning that you felt as if law enforcement wasn't or would not handle the case appropriately in the involvement that you had?
So from the level of engagement that I saw, let's base it on initial level of engagement. They had a lot of people that were involved with the search, and then immediately after as well. I mean, I was communicating with the sheriff's department closely thereafter. I did not observe or have a feeling of any lack of engagement or anything like that. I think they were engaged. And then as the case moved on, I believe their level of engagement was appropriate because they knew this case is under a microscope. Everybody's out there watching. It's international news.
And I want to just ask you a personal opinion about this, because one of the elements that we've been trying to get out to the world is because this has turned into a racial dynamic. And just on your experience, I don't know how long have you been living in this area, or living in Mississippi around this Ocean Springs?
So I live in Louisiana, about an hour and 20 from Ocean Springs. All my life, 30 plus years. Getting old.
You got a big old gray beard.
Right.
being in that area your whole life, or majority of your life, like do you notice any real racial tension? And I say real, I'm saying just in your opinion, is there a element of racial tension in either the Louisiana area or near Horn Island and the Ocean Springs area that you have personally experienced?
So there's this perceived element of racial tension in the South, right? Let's call it the South as a whole. I personally have not had any or observed any gross racial tensions whatsoever prior to this. I think that this case has exacerbated some, and there's been some outside influences that have exacerbated some racial tensions for whatever reason it is. We live in the South. Yes, there's a history and there's a past, and I understand that. But move forward with the way we're living, right? It's 2026. It's a difficult time, and it's a difficult time in the South. It's a difficult time nationwide, right? But let me say this. Let me put this out there real quick, is that I 110% support Miss Christine and what she's doing. She's a grieving mother, and I've said this from day one. There's no rule book. There's no playbook on how she should act or what she should do. Find the truth and trying to find answers. There's a lot of outside influence that's pushing her in whichever way it is or however it is. But again, I support her. She's got to find the truth so she can start that grieving and healing process. There's some disgusting things that are out there, and we just need to be able to differentiate from that, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that point, because there's been a huge concern of mine of trying to figure out what's stimulating this. When I spoke to some of the young men that were being accused of killing Nolan, they were saying that that initially it didn't appear that there were issues between Miss Christine, the boys looking for Nolan, and then all of a sudden it seems to be an issue of race and accusations, and it's almost like the community begin to break down, because it appears that even you, being a volunteer for the Cajun Navy, being able to, and being white, being able to go with Elmore and Miss Christine, and you guys shared the same sentiment of looking out for what happened to Nolan, and then it seemed like it turned. And from my observation, it seems like when the attorney Benjamin Crump and others got involved, it seemed to turn more in a activist political direction than just the generic direction of, hey, a community coming together to find Nolan. Now, that is my opinion. Now, you had a closer experience in this because you were in communication with Miss Christine and all of the above. What is your take on how this has played out since the very first time you got involved?
I don't necessarily disagree with your opinion. Okay. I've seen the communications with Christine and her family dwindle down after the hiring or onboarding of Mr. Crump. Now, again, I want to make sure that everybody understands I'm gonna give the family the respective space that they need. And I will send them motivational messages. Just today I sent one, hey, Miss Christine, I know today's a tough day. It's your son's birthday. Just know that I'm here for you. 110%. If you need a shoulder to cry on, somebody to call, whatever it is, I'm here. Got to thank you, which is all I expected. But what I did was watch lengthy communications turn into emojis or the little heart and then thank yous. And it's fine. It's the natural progression of the way the relationship was. But I do feel that outside influence had something to do with it, without a doubt. And that's my opinion, right? So it's unfortunate. A young man lost his life.
And there's this issue with the cadaver dog. I don't know the full details of.
I want y'all to really pay close attention to this, because the cadaver dogs was something that a lot of different news outlets brought up about. And shout out to the Cajun Navy. They provided or they offered a lot of resources at no cost, just to the family, whatever they needed. And I want people to stop getting so caught up in who Officer Tatum is and listen to the guy who's giving his real opinion, because he's giving very valid information. I always tell people, to me, Officer Tatum is like a bad black preacher, right? He'll give you some good news one day and then he'll lie to you the next day. It's okay. But at this point, I want you guys to really pay attention to all those resources that were offered to this family that could possibly allow them to get more answers and less assumptions down the road.
But I'm under the assumption, I hope you can clarify this for me, is that there was an initial request or an offering up of cadaver dogs to search one of the boats, I guess one of them that Nolan may have been on, and that was presented and it was rejected by Benjamin Crump. Are you associated with that, or can you explain that? Do you have more information than I do about this?
Sure. So I was the one who offered the cadaver dogs.
Oh, okay.
I had a conversation with the lead attorney. I had a conversation with the lead attorney, Liza Park. Again, I've been trying to reach him for a couple of days, and I left message. Couldn't do it. I asked Christine, give me a phone number. I need to talk to somebody. So I sent a text message on, I believe it was the 13th, got a read, no response. And I called that next day on the 14th, had about a 24-minute conversation, but I offered up the services of the cadaver dogs, right? So these are human remain detection dogs. And I told him, I said, hey, look, I've offered them to the sheriff's department, but I'm offering the service to you as well. And here's how it plays out. Those dogs can go to the boat. They can do a search on that boat. And if they alert on that vessel, and they alert as they're working to smell for a cadaver, there's more than likely a pretty big chance that there was a body on that boat. But if they don't alert, it's just the inverse. There may not, and it's a pretty good chance that there wasn't one on there. She explained the concern about them cleaning the vessel. I can pretty much guarantee they didn't clean the vessel with the necessary chemicals or the process that needs to be cleaned. And then that was reconfirmed when I went and spoke to the young men as well, because they told me how they cleaned the boat. And they said, man, Josh, all we did was spray it down with fresh water, because that's a common practice whenever you remove a vessel from salt water. Just spray it down, get the solvent, and go there. But what I told the lead attorney was, if you would like these services, we'll provide the resource, we'll provide the dogs. You're going to have to get the permission. If it's a warrant, if it's you just asking for permission to look at that vessel, that's on you, not on us.
So there, shout out to Jay Lord, giving us some valid information. This is Jay Gill here with the Cajun Navy, and as y'all heard, they offered the cadaver dogs. They even offered the family to, hey, we'll provide the dogs. Y'all just need to go get the subpoena or the warrant so that you can go search the boat. And like he mentioned, it's no way that they would have cleaned the boat well enough to get rid of any evidence that was possible, because he said it is normal for people to go home and spray down their boats because they were in salt water. And we all know salt water will rust up the boat, things of that nature. So it was normal to go wipe down your boat. But I thought it was amazing. We're going to watch a little bit more, but they offered a lot of resources. And I know a lot of people are going to be, because everybody went to blaming the Mississippi, but it's almost like we already knew Mississippi was crap. Why not? You went and got Crump, right? So why not do everything else you need to do to get true answers?
I would, as a mother, I would have taken every single, hey, you need our help? Yes. I don't know what I'm doing. Yes. Cadaver dogs. Yes. Can we get a subpoena? Yeah. What do I need to do next? I would have been asking tons of questions, and if whatever the offered help they offered, I would accept all of it, because I would not have known anything to do. Yeah. You think we should do? Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. whatever services you can provide. Yes, definitely. But
so it's just a few more minutes, and we'll get to any chats and any questions
about the dogs. You get the permission. What she said was, we'll have to really think about it. We didn't understand that if there's no alert, that means nobody. So
that's pretty. I mean, what do you think about? I mean, what do you think about that? Was that, when she said that, was that suspicious to you, or was it just maybe somebody that don't understand how this process works, or how did you feel about that? And it's just an opinion or a hunch of how you felt, because when you said it just now to me, it's kind of weird that you're looking for Nolan. If I was Nolan's friend, I mean, I don't even know Nolan. Knowing what I know about Nolan right now, there is no stone that would be left unturned for me. And so with the cadaver dog potential, how did you interpret that?
So I interpreted as there were concerns that the dog wouldn't alert. That was my interpretation. No alert, no body, right? So of concern, because they were looking to try and find the last location of Nolan. It was a red flag. But here's what else I said. When I gave her a little piece of advice, me not being an attorney, but just a common sense kind of guy, I said, why don't you ask the family, because I can't give you permission to search your boat. Why don't you ask the people who own the boat, say, hey, we want to run a cadaver dog on it. If they say, sure, no problem, that'll tell you something. But if they say no, right? So we never were returned. I never personally got an email or a call back, hey, let's use those dogs. They could have went out somewhere else and used some other dogs. The conversation was that. But I will say this, 2 weeks later, the sheriff, Jackson County Sheriff's Office, did ask me to bring some cadaver dogs for another case that's in Ocean Springs. So they're fully aware of our capabilities, and they utilize us with those resources. So there's the cadaver dog story for you.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I just wonder, is there anything else that you have noticed because you live out there, you've been involved in this case. I'm sure you hear, grumblings from people all around with theories and some conspiracy theories. Some people are out of their minds on social media, and some people may have some interesting information. Is there anything else that you know of that you'd like to add and you want the world to know about your involvement of things that you've been able to be privy to out at Horn Island or even back on land?
Sure, and I've been to Horn Island many times, been out there for July 4th in years past. Here's a couple things I want to get very clear with people. Number one, I support Christine. Our organization supports Christine. Number two, the threats and the vitriolic rhetoric, it needs to stop, man. The threats, it's not healthy for the environment. It's not healthy for what's going on. These young boys are taking a beating with threats. It's not good. Next thing is, social media is a great tool. It can be your best friend, but it can be your worst enemy from time to time. Let's just watch what we say. Watching, people are looking, the mama Christine's looking at social media, the boys are looking at social media. These people have to move on with their lives. With all these crazy cockamamie stories, one lady said, he could have been dismembered and put in a fish box and put it back on the island. Come on, man. Let's use our noggin, not just to hold a hat on top of it, but let's use our head, right? Look, there's problems. There's racial tensions. Granted, got it. Let's be driven by love and let's not be driven by anger, because when we're driven by anger, we make bad decisions. And I think we need to start making some good decisions in what we do and what we say.
I love that. I appreciate you, Josh. What ways can people who are watching this help and support the United Cajun Navy?
Sure. So we've got a website. We are donation driven. We're a 501c3. It's a United Cajun.
So shout out to the Cajun Navy, man, and Jay Gill. He actually talks about they found a young man just this past week that they did a search with that they've been looking for a while. Shout out Mary, welcome in, man.
Hey,
Welcome in, Marty. But again, man, it's just another location. I mean, another resource that it seems like could have been used to a better advantage. And I don't know how people look at these things. And I feel like I know we probably missed it. Y'all probably missed it earlier in the interview, but he asked them about the communication between him and Christina, and it actually stopped. He said it went from long messages to just emojis. And then after that, he still kept sending his encouraging messages to the family, but the communication ceased. I'm sure that was guidance given to her, because if you also heard his initial communication with her, she ran up to him and said he was out with his friends. He was out with his friends. And now the whole story is they were never his friends, right? It was never nobody they knew. It was never everything's, and we're going to show you guys even in the next segment, text messages, conversations that were being had between Christina and Nolan. The whole thing just doesn't make sense anymore. Like, and I'm kind of with Super Mac, what he said earlier. It's kind of like at this point, I think we know what it is. Yeah. And how do people start to heal? Because there's still a lot of people following this case. There's a lot of people affected by Nolan Wells' loss, but then we get no closure. So just something to think about. J. Lloyd said, I'm off tomorrow. Are you guys on every night? The keys to the office are with my coworker that left for the dang dinner. It's the only quiet room in this place. Hit us up on the email, and me and Raina set something up with you for sure.
Yeah.
We can make ourselves available. And J. Lord, are you in the Mississippi area, man? It'd be great to have somebody on. We appreciate you, man. Appreciate you even staying around. For y'all who don't know, J. Lord said he had an actual channel himself, just due to all the malarkey in the cesspool around this, around a lot of the cases. They kind of backed off, but we'll appreciate, man. We'd love to have you up. He said, Marty in the chat. Mikey said the Black community already convicted these boys with no evidence. We understand, Mikey. We understand, man. And we appreciate your opinion. We're just here bringing content and the facts. He said sanitized. Lori said, I got y'all copied. You guys seem rational, which is rare. Oh, man, let me read that one more time. Hallelujah. I got y'all copied. You guys seem rational, which is rare. People get emotionally invested with tunnel vision. Well, you have definitely found a home here, J. Lloyd. Souls has little to no emotions.
All facts over feelings all the time. All the time, J. Lloyd, all the time.
He said definitely. Yeah. He said no. I'm in Clearwater. Okay, Clearwater, Florida. Bird. it was the Idaho 4 case that made me hang up my Spurs.
Oh,
respect.
Yeah.
Well, you'll probably know a little bit about the Lancaster family then on Sunday. And Marty said, he said, I'm grateful. Yeah. We're grateful that you're here, man. All gratitude, man. We appreciate you being here. That means a lot for somebody who was in the content game doing this. So we appreciate it. Penny said, J. Lord, don't give Souls a big head. He would never live it. Come on, Penny. Oh, man, Penny. It's Friday, man. You know, people act different on Friday. All right, Penny. All right. No, but we appreciate you guys, man. Again, like I said, between every segment, man, we're going to make sure we continue to keep the main thing as well. As we're talking about justice for Nolan Wells, we also want to talk about justice for the Lancaster family, for Malachi Lancaster, who lost his life as well through gun violence. It would have been gun violence, I guess that's how you want to talk about it. But the mother is it Sophia? I call her Sophie.
Sophie.
Okay. Sophie Lancaster, she will be here with us live on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we told her she has the floor, so however long she wants to be on speaking. But we really want you guys to come out here and provide somebody real encouragement, real encouragement. Because it's nothing like having someone. And what I really like about her, she's going everywhere that's willing to spread her son's story. Mm-hmm. She doesn't care how big, how small, if you're new, if you're old, like she's just trying to spread for justice for Malachi. And it's super dope, man. I think y'all are going to really enjoy hearing her and hearing her speak and just talk about her son. So, and the case. And she's on it because she's sending Rain document. We're gonna have document. Yeah. She said, I'll send you whatever you need. Like she's on top of it. So shout out again to Miss Sophie Lancaster and the Lancaster family, man. We appreciate you.
J. Lord said, I'm definitely interested. Lancaster is my family name on my mother's side. Okay. Might have said if his head gets any bigger, he will float away.
I'm gonna let you live today, Marty. I'm gonna let you live.
J. Lord said, is this family from Kentucky by chance? I'm not totally for certain, but
this
incident happened down in Gainesville, Florida.
Yeah.
Or close to Gainesville, Florida. J. Lord said, I got channels that are trustworthy and will help spread the word. Ooh. And that's what she's looking for too. She's looking for us content creators who are unbiased, who will help her spread the word of what's going on. Penny said, it's all realist love in these parts.
Yeah. So we appreciate everybody who's here tonight with us, man. Again, we're just bringing the information. Mm-hmm. Everybody has their opinion. We respect everybody's opinion. So the next thing we're going to cover tonight is the Christina Wells and Warren text thread that has came out. Seems like everything's coming out now all of a sudden. And we're going to go over to another unbiased young man that puts out very great content as well, Class E. And we're going to hear what he has to say about the Christina text messages. So here we go.
Information that has been released, and they are actually text messages between Nolan Wells' mother, Christine Wansley, and Warren Hudson. Now, we're going to talk about it because a lot's been said and a lot's been going on with this investigation. Specifically, one of the things we're going to key on and focus on here what was said by Christine Wansley, and a lot of you have pointed it out when it comes to Nolan's relationship to his friends. Now, throughout this entire investigation, since the beginning, Christine Wansley and Elmore have made it very clear that, and they didn't know these people. They say, what? It's almost like they didn't even know Nolan had friends. I don't know what friends they thought Nolan had, because they made it very clear these people that were on the boat with him, they didn't know like that. Christine, even so much so, in the last interview we saw her do, she said that she got a call from a number and she didn't know who it was. And she picked up the phone and he said, hey, this is Warren. And she said, Warren, what? Why are you calling me? And Warren said, oh, well, have you seen Nolan? She said, no, Nolan, I thought Nolan was with you. So again, she made it seem like pretty much anybody.
That's what I'm saying. People who are really following this that wants justice for Nolan is going to notice everything.
Who's on the other side, they don't know. So I think that's a fair assessment of that situation. But now we're finding out there are actually some text messages that took place back and forth between Christine and Warren. And we have them here thanks to Sarah Fields, who was the first one I saw to post this over on X. And she gave all the information about these text messages. Here's what she had to say, and we'll get into what the text messages say. Exclusive. Private text messages show Christine Wells Wansley, was in direct contact with Warren Hudson, and he was giving her information from the very beginning. If so, this is not a great look for Christine, because she made it sound like she didn't know who it was that was contacting her. I have obtained exclusive private text messages between Christine and Warren Hudson from the hours and days immediately following Nolan Wells' disappearance. And these messages provide some incredibly important context to what the public has been told since this case has exploded across social media. First, she wants to address exactly what the messages show. Warren was in contact with Christine and giving her information. She minimalized this previously. They also show that Christine was asking Warren questions and that Warren's forthcoming about answering those questions. He wasn't avoiding her. He wasn't refusing to answer her. He was communicating with her, answering her questions, helping with search, and telling her what information they had already provided to authorities. The communication shown here begins the night Nolan was reported missing at 11:15. So again, probably shortly after he called her. She said the phone call from Warren was around 11:07. And that was on July 4th. Christine asked Warren, where is his car? Warren responded, it's at Jack's house. Christine immediately asked where that was and asked him to send her the address where the boys had launched. Again, kind of crazy that they didn't know where these friends were or who they were. That's a weird situation. So let's actually get into the text messages. And thankfully, the dates are here. So we'll be able to go along and see exactly what was said and when it was said. She says this. So this is Warren sending this to Christine. And he says, Nolan went out on a 22 Triton offshore. I was on the 24 tide line on the way out. We were on separate boats. I went back to the Triton DMR and the sheriff's office has all the information also. And then on Monday, July 6th at 1:37, Christine says, hey, Warren, can you collect any of Nolan's items left at Jack's house? And Warren says, good morning, Miss Christine. I just wanted to let you know that my family and I have been praying for you and your family. And he says, Nolan was one of my best friends since we were in 8th grade together. You and Mr. Elmore raised one of the best men I've ever met. Wow. I wish I could be there today, but I would never want to take attention off of your family and Nolan and be a distraction. Thank you for being the best parents that Nolan could have. Wow. Shout out to Warren again. And he said this to Officer Tatum in the first interview he did, because Officer Tatum asked him about not going to the memorial. And Warren said, listen, I didn't want to make it about me. Even though we were getting all these death threats, I knew it was going to be an issue. And then there's some more information. It looks like this is actually from July 4th. And Warren said something about, we went out this morning to look, and I've been on and off the phone with Jackson County Sheriff's Office today. If you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. And then Christine says, thank you. And Warren says, we are all praying for your family. And Christine says, we appreciate it. And then July 5th, this was before that first message, Christine says, what is the make and model of the boat you guys were on? Nolan said, we went out on the 22 Triton. And then that's when that message comes. Okay, so these are just out of order. And then on July 5th, Christine said, Nolan's dad is at the house to pick up the keys. And then Christine said on Sunday, July 5th, said, hey, Warren, what kind of sunglasses was Nolan wearing yesterday? This is kind of crazy. Warren says, I'm pretty sure Ray-Bans, Miss Christine. And then he says, hey, Miss Christine, just wanted to check in. We went out this morning to look, and I've been on the phone with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office today. If you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, so it looks like these are out of order. Let me actually go to the beginning. So this is on July 4th, and this is at 11:15. And Christine says, Warren, where is his car? Warren says, at Jack's house. Christine says, where is that at? Can you please send me the address where you guys launched? And he said, yes, ma'am. And she said, what time was the last time you guys saw him? And Warren said at 3 p.m. Now, she also says, what was he wearing? And he says, black shorts and sunglasses. And then Christine says to Warren, can you call Neva at DMR? And it actually shows that she unsent a message. We're talking about deleted messages. She actually unsent a message, which I guess we'll never know what that said. Either way, Warren says, on the phone with the Coast Guard right now. I will after. Yes, ma'am. And she says, thank you so much. She also says, we have to file a missing persons report. So one more time, tell me exactly where you saw him last. I'm sorry, I'm asking you to repeat this. And she edited the message. And he says, 3 p.m. at the west tip, north side of Horn Island. And she says, where did you guys launch from? And he shows her the location. He says, we launched the boats yesterday evening and left from here this morning. And she says, Nolan's dad is at the house to pick up the keys. And she says, hey, Warren, what kind of sunglasses was Nolan wearing? And he says, I'm pretty sure Ray-Bans. And then that's when they go through the rest of this conversation. So again, it's interesting to see. I understand the pushback and the confusion from a lot of the stories that we're hearing, because we heard one thing from Katie, we heard one thing from Warren, we had heard one thing from other people, and the stories weren't making sense at first. But again, it seems like he was really being helpful with the part of the investigation when it came to finding Nolan, and even after that, giving information about this. So I think this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I want to know what you guys think about this in the comments in the chat, because again, it's really showing how helpful Warren was being and how consistent his story was, because it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed at all from when these text messages and what the text messages show to when he's done the interviews with Officer Tatum and beyond. So it's interesting to see. So again, I want to point out something that Sarah said, and then I have some more information I want to give to you guys, because she says, this is a very different picture from what millions of people have subsequently been encouraging people to believe about these young men. These texts show communication. They show cooperation. They show Christine seeking information directly from Warren. They show Warren providing it. And they show a relationship between Warren and Nolan that looks very different privately than the picture that was being painted publicly. Christine has behaved as if none of the boys were helpful or forthcoming with information. That's true. She has acted as if they were not friends. She acted as if they did not care about the answers. She has been deceitful to the audience. This is what Sarah says. She knows she has. Again, shout out to Warren, because I think this is great in the sense that we now see, and we're now able to see that right when things happen, he was telling the same story.
So there you have it, man. That's why, we started the town hall, because my biggest thing was just providing everybody with accurate information and getting away from the emotions, because we're starting to see a whole different playbook. Ben Crump all the way in Jacksonville, Florida now, dealing with a whole nother family.
Yeah.
He sung Happy Birthday in Georgia and went to Jacksonville. And for those who don't follow us, I recommend you guys going back. We still have an ongoing series called Unfinished Business. All the trials and all the things that Ben Crump has had his hands on that never get a finishing result. And we've been covering that as well. And this seems like it's going to be another one of those things.
Yeah.
Because you can't go from one family to the next family to the next family and have enough attention span to really give them your all. So just something to think about, guys, as you continue to go through this. I will highly recommend our community start to ask the question, what does justice look like? As we're fighting for Carmelo Anthony, what does justice look like for him? We covered that breaking news yesterday, right? He got a new attorney, he got a new team, he got a new judge, but the judge is trash.
Yeah.
The judge is so trash, he said he's going to send it by email what his choice is by tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's going to send it by email. I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all, everybody was on Nancy Grace's boat at first. I sent y'all, me and Rain covered her too, double talking and lying, saying one thing on Officer Tatum's show, one thing on her show. But no, at first everybody like, oh no, Nancy Grace, get down to the business. Nah, she been doing this for, I keep trying to tell y'all. Grifting looks amazing. When people have their emotions in it, that's grifting, dog. If you can't give people facts from both sides, even when you don't like the person who's delivering the message, that's called bias. You have a bias. I don't care if you agree with Officer Tatum or not. I'm listening to the people he's sitting down with. Same thing with Nancy Grace. I don't care about her. I'm listening to all the people that she's sitting down with.
Yeah.
We're supposed to listen to the people that they're sitting down with, not the person who set up the interview. That don't even matter. We need to hear what the person they're talking to is saying, because they're supposed to be the source of information.
Yeah, we shouldn't be worried about that person's perspective. We worried about the facts that are coming in. Yeah,
we be too emotional. Like, get out your emotions. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what I mean? We gotta get the information, and sometimes the information is gonna come from people you don't like to hear it from, but it doesn't mean it's not quality and good information. So, and prayers to everybody who's fighting for justice for Nolan Wells. That's all I can really say, man. I don't think we're going to get any more movement on it. I think it's going to be something that kind of fades off. I think Carmelo Anthony case is going to possibly overshadow what's going on with Nolan Wells if he gets another trial, which me and Rain will keep y'all abreast on that. But we're going to read some of these comments, and Rain found some great information that we're going to close the town hall off with tonight. So.
J. Lord said, I worry about survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for them young men, man. They dealt with a lot too.
Penny says she owed Warren an apology, and they just getting started with their adult lives too. They just getting started. They got to live with this for the rest of their lives. Penny said, and tainting the pool in Jacksonville too, if this is his MO.
Yeah.
J. Lord said, you guys just gained a stage 5 clinger. We appreciate that. I have 6 binders full of Ben Crump BS.
Hey, come on up, man. Come on. We'll connect with you for sure, man. But
Yes.
we highly encourage you to go back and watch our No Middleman show. We got a whole bunch of content on the Raw Society Network. Go watch it all. This is what we talk about. We just talk about, we do some relationship stuff, but if you're looking for crime, sociology, psychology, just different things about the world and how we look at things, I think you'll definitely love it, man.
Yeah. J. Lord, Nancy is an unethical witch from Atlanta.
Hey.
Penny said, ask the question, does Ben Crump really provide a service to the Black community or himself?
I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna answer this very unbiased. Ben Crump is a great starter kit, but you have to have knowledge of the justice system. Let me say that again for everybody. He's a great jump to the starter kit, but you have to have the knowledge of the justice system. Because if you think about you think about all the publicity Ben Crump brought to the Wells family, right? And if the Wells family would have just went with some of the advice that the Cajun Navy brought them, it would have sped things up a little bit quicker. Like, Ben Crump gets you the publicity. You want to be seen. You want everybody's eyes to be on your case. So he's a great starter kit. Ben Crump is like he can boost your battery, even though your alternator gonna make your alternator is bad, but you can boost your battery just enough to get home. But then you try to start it up again in the morning, then you find out it's your alternator that's killing the battery. That's what Ben Crump is. He's that bad alternator. But if you give it a little charge, it'll still get you kind of where you need to go until you finally get it diagnosed and you figure out like, oh shoot, we should have did X, Y, and Z instead of I just bought a new battery, went to O'Reilly's, got another battery. Like, no, it's the alternator. Get the alternator changed and your battery won't die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I look at Ben Crump, man.
Gillian said, I pray Carmelo gets a new fair trial. Welcome in, Gillian.
Yeah, welcome in, Gillian. Not to hold it up on this, I'll let y'all see tomorrow. I have a feeling in my gut, but I'm gonna let y'all see tomorrow. He's supposed to come out tomorrow via email and send the message of the result.
Purple Groovy said, feelings are not facts.
Hello. Thank you. What's up, Purple Groovy? Welcome back, ma'am.
J. Lord said, thank you. Bias is not justice.
Big facts.
Penny said, agreed. J. Lord said, do you guys think it will be in October if he gets a new trial? I don't know. They might hold it off.
It might go to October. It might go to November because election season. So it all depends what gamut they want to run. Depends what gamut they want to run.
Marwy. Welcome in, Marwy. Appreciate you being here.
How you doing, ma'am? How you doing?
Marty said, Penny, he is about the paper. J. Laura said, Ben Crump intentionally stalls cases for numerous nefarious reasons.
Yes, sir.
Penny said, True Souls is right about the publicity.
Yeah, he'll get you out there. He'll get you seen. He'll get you. Look at him. He can take you all through the Southern tour. He's like a comedy tour manager. He can get you to all the hole in the wall places. But your stardom is up to you. You got to be a good comedian. He can get you into all the gigs, but if you ain't talented, you'll never make it. And when you don't know the system, you can't be talented.
J. Lewis says, so Chitty will give an answer tomorrow instead of Monday. That's what they're reporting. So the latest update, and I'll say this right quick, it says the hearing has concluded and Judge Michael Chitty announced that he will issue his decision tomorrow, Saturday, the 22nd. This is according to WFAA. So there's no grant or denial tonight. So
but Jay Laura, we did a background check on him last night. His rap sheet ain't good, dog. This new judge ain't good. So I don't know if he's trying to rebuild his reputation by giving Carmelo a new trial, or is he just gonna sit in the seat and say, hey, Roach is my boy. I agree that he did a good trial. And we're gonna just leave it at that.
Yeah, you don't know what kind of that's what I said last night. You don't know what kind of conversation they've been having behind the scenes. Penny said doubt he had a fair one if he get a new one.
Yeah, because they already building up new evidence on both of them, character-wise.
Mm-hmm. Purple Groovy said, he who helps the guilty shares the crime.
I'll agree with you.
Penny says, he's a Don King. Gillian said, Ben Crump is the opener, but not a closer.
See, thank you. See, everybody on the same page. Everybody on the same page.
Jay Lewis said, look at Carmelo's lawyers and trace each one back 10 years. You will see what's up.
I know, man. I know, man. I know.
Penny said, I think he's just gonna double. Oh, go ahead.
Jay Lord, you got to walk in a little slow with the group. Sometimes people are very sensitive to certain things, so we try to give it to them in micro doses, not too much, not too soon. You know, you got to walk them. You got to lead them into it.
Walk them down. Yeah. Penny said, I think he's just gonna double down on Melo. Jay Lord said, there's a fundraiser in Martha's Vineyard. They said, Jay Lord said, I think they are all suspect at this point.
All right, let's get you on out of here. All right. So, Rain did her due diligence. Y'all know Rain like a little sniper on the back end. So Rain was able to provide some information that I think is going to really allow us to close out tonight's town hall, really with a cliffhanger almost, kind of giving us a better understanding of how some people are looking at this thing. So you want to give them a rundown of what it's going to be about, Rain, before?
So People Magazine came out with an article that basically says that Jackson County coroner, that's in Mississippi, that's where Nolan Wells is in Mississippi, said that there have been no recorded drowning deaths at Horn Island in the last 6 years. That doesn't mean that there's no drownings that happen in the area. Of course, there was one at Pettis Boys Island in the same time period, and a teenage girl was taken in critical condition to the hospital from Dolphin Island back in 2022. But of course, with all the questions surrounding his death, it being a drowning and whatnot, and yes, we've had those reports of it's a washing machine effect out there. The current is different whenever it's around the island and whatnot. Some people know how to navigate the current, some people don't. And it's a death trap, they say. But here, and Hype News is going to bring it all together, but they're saying that there's have been no official recorded drowning deaths on Horn Island in at least the last 6 years.
But also, guys,
it didn't happen,
also they talk about who they seen Nolan with, too. I brought this up before. Everybody keep talking about girls. Girls. I do it. Yeah.
Portland, my school Right Plus News. I'm Janaba. Breaking news coming out of Mississippi. Key information connected to the case of Nolan Wells has now broken online and is adding to ongoing speculation. In an exclusive finding from People Magazine, it has now been revealed by a Jackson County official that Horn Island has not seen any official drownings in the past 6 years, according to the coroner's office. In the People Magazine exclusive, it goes on to read, despite the current and deep water around Horn Island, echoed in the concerns of some locals, data obtained by People indicates that recent drownings there are rare. The Jackson County coroner said that there have been no recorded drowning deaths at Horn Island in the last 6 years. An official tells People in response to an open records request. For some, this is extremely interesting given that many have suspected foul play was involved, and that the sheriff's department originally suspected Wells' death to be an accidental drowning, which would anger many since an official autopsy was not completed when that statement was made. So if there has been no drownings on Horn Island in 6 years, what are the chances that Nolan just so happened to experience this unfortunate and, from the gathered information, rare incident? In that same exclusive, it will go on to share that drownings have occurred on nearby islands, but again, nothing on Horn Island, where Wells was last seen alive. Now, at the top of this case, many have shared their theories of Nolan possibly drowning, with some accusing a potential part of the island being known for rip currents. But viewing where many were positioned in the water that day, it's been hard for some to believe that Wells could drown in water that's waist deep. Now, one user on TikTok, and who is also a retired officer, would be on Horn Island on July 4th and confirmed seeing Wells that day, and would go on to reveal in a post that Wells not only seemed okay, but everyone was in waist deep water. Pictures from his post would also go on to confirm this. Now, a user would first go on to ask, can you confirm if there's phone signal on the island? In which the user would go on to say, maybe one bar on the south side of the island. You can maybe get text messages. We walked the entire island on the 4th. And yes, we saw Nolan earlier that day, but before these pics were taken. He was with a group of white girls who appeared to be around his age. The only reason I remember is my wife said he was one of the former Ocean Springs football players. He did not seem to be impaired by any means. This was also 12 or 1-ish. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Nobody brings their phones off the boats. I did because I wanted to take some pics. Most people are in waist deep water. It's a tragedy either way, but I hope no foul play was involved. But if it was, he needs justice. So much misinformation. Leaving your phone on the boat is common practice at the island. No docks there, so you have to wade to the beach. Every boater, when time permitted, washes their boat and flushes it, especially when leaving salt water, as soon as they get home. His Snapchat would not be used if he didn't have his phone. His mother said he would not leave his friends. We saw with our own eyes he was not with his friends. He was clearly interested in one of the girls. Nobody knows the whole story, but hopefully they will get to the bottom of it. It was also a very family-friendly environment on the beach. Numerous families with small children. If something nefarious happened, it wasn't on the beach. Boats were parked too deep on the island. It would be easy to lose sight of someone behind one of the boats, and the water drops off pretty quickly in some spots. I'm retired law enforcement and worked federal and state investigations. Nothing is off the table. He had 2 autopsies, and the toxicology takes a little while. I have faith in the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Everyone sees Mississippi as this backwoods racist place. It couldn't be further from the truth, at least here on the coast. Either way, I feel there is a lot of misinformation being spread, even blatant lies by racist people, white and black. Unfortunately, this is the way of the world. I hope this sheds some light on that day on the island, sending prayers to his family and friends who are affected by his tragic loss. Now, over on Instagram, on Thursday, D.L. Hughley would further push against claims that Wells drowned, as he would go on to share a video of a woman taking the stance against those who continue saying that Wells lost his life in an accidental drowning. For his caption, Hughley would go on to say, all this.
He was on an island that was very populated with a lot of people. Let's just talk fundamentals of basic common sense, okay? If he drowned, at what point did he drown? And did no one see him drowning? And if he did drown, how and why did he drown? Do we think that he was just like out there and he fell in the water himself and just suddenly couldn't swim and drowned? Do we think he just went for a swim and the rip current took over? I'm asking. Because if you're so convinced that he drowned, how did he drown? I get that drownings happen. How did he drown alone where no one saw him drowning? Because no one's reported him drowning or seeing him drown or even seeing him struggle. And I want to say he has to be a good swimmer because they did mention a pool party too that he attended. So I don't think that he would go on a boat and go to a pool party if he couldn't swim.
Now, that same woman later on in her video will go on to predict that Mississippi officials will attempt to get the outcome they want in this case, with a potential uproar to soon follow. Now, despite many pushing back against drowning theories, there are some, however, who still believe that him drowning is very plausible.
I can tell you for a fact, Nolan is not the first person to pass away, or even the first person to pass away on the 4th of July. Been several people who have passed away from accidental drowning off of Horn and Chip Island. The majority of the time, it's from people having some liquid courage, jumping off a boat into the water and it being too shallow, or falling off and hitting their head, becoming unconscious. One person, I think it was a 17-year-old, fell off, hit his head, became unconscious, and his friends were right there. Tried to find him, couldn't find him. Didn't find him, I don't think, till the next day. Similar to Nolan. Drowning is silent.
Now, as far as the latest, yesterday would mark Wells's 19th birthday, in which his friends and family would participate in a prayer vigil for the young man. The comments below, upon hearing that Horn Island has not had any reported drownings in 6 years, does this add to speculation that foul play was involved? Reporting live from Hyper Club, 5 Plus News.
Unmute.
There we have it there. That was just a quick little rundown of thoughts of other people, people who were still seeing them. So I'm gonna give you guys, You can't, can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, okay. He said y'all. Okay. We're gonna add this to the stage here. Gonna make it bigger. Let's go over here, Rain, so everybody can see it. So this right here is the DA for this is for Mississippi, right?
From Angel Myers. Yeah,
I'm gonna let Rain read it because y'all know I'll be leaning in even with glasses on. I still can't read it. So.
Okay, I'm gonna put. You can leave it right there, but I'm gonna make it big on my screen over here on this side. So she sent this letter out on the 18th because a lot of people are still like, hey, where's the information at? She says, as district attorney, I do not have the same freedom to share information publicly that private individuals may have. For example, I do not have the freedom to release letters I've sent in this investigation, discuss witness cooperation, or the testing of evidence. I do not have the freedom to identify what information is verified and what information is false. I do not have the freedom to publicly adopt a narrative and choose one fact over another, nor do I control the information released by private individuals who are not part of the investigative team. I cannot control whether private individuals release letters they have sent to me, just as I cannot prevent them from releasing letters I've sent to them. I cannot control which facts or bits of information are shared or whether that information is being shared in context, twisted, or misconstrued. Public commentary does not make the speaker transparent, just like exercising restraint consistent with the law does not make the process corrupt. The fact that something is said does not necessarily mean it's actually true. Prosecutors are held to the highest ethical standard under the law, as we should be. The people we serve deserve no less. I understand that a void is perceived when some are speaking publicly about a matter while others do not. I would be stepping outside the bounds of law if I were to fill that void and share information publicly. With all the public pressure being placed on my office, filling the void would only serve to get pressure off of me. Nolan deserves better. There is no pressure that can be placed on me and no force that is greater than the weight of the oath that I took and my responsibility to the people I serve. My obligation and commitment is to present the grand jury with all the evidence collected in this case in order for them to reach a decision based on a thorough investigation, complete evidence presentation, the actual truth, and an understanding of the law. I am obligated to do so in keeping with the law and the rules of the court. On July 23rd, 2026, I released a recorded statement explaining the process and what the people of Jackson County should expect in this matter. There is nothing more to be shared at this time. I caution the public about assigning trustworthiness to things they read and see online. I also ask that rather than those individuals demanding that I step outside the bounds of the law and make public statements, we all step back, allow the process to work, and allow us to do the job that we were elected to do. I stand firmly on the rule of law and my ethical obligations. That is what the people of Jackson County elected me to do. I will present the grand jury with a thorough, complete, and fair investigation into the death of Nolan Wells.
Yeah. I mean, she literally, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, like, it's very unique because everybody started their emotional rants off of the one thing that started. When everybody felt the sheriff shouldn't said anything, that's when everybody started running with their narrative. Mm-hmm. Prior to that, everybody was good to go, right? Everybody was kind of letting things play out. But once people got the information that didn't sound like what they wanted it to sound like, that's when everybody really started like honing in on like what they heard or what they seen, things of that nature. But again, guys, here at the town hall, man, we're just here to bring you information that continues to trickle out, information that's coming. They did subpoena the CETO call this week, which I don't even know how good that's going to be. Everybody already heard 6,000 versions of that too. Mm-hmm. So everybody going to feel like if something comes out and it don't sound the same, everybody going to feel like that's fake news too. So we're at a point now where we have allowed every platform to create a narrative. and everybody's going to follow that narrative, whatever narrative makes you feel better at the end of the night. So that's kind of where we are when it comes to the case of Nolan Wells. And it's unfortunate because Jay Lloyd said it. Everybody says it about him, man. You could just look at him and tell he was a great kid. Like, everybody has something great about him. All the videos I still see on TikTok of friends finally putting out like videos and prom, and like, he was just a life of the party doing funny TikToks at school with the teachers, and like, he was just a great kid, man. And no one's never going to remember about the greatness of him anymore. It's going to always be about this story.
Yeah.
As we mentioned before, my biggest thing is every time we hear someone, everybody talks about females, but there's really hasn't been any females that people have questioned or really brought upon. He said, yeah, Precious. Yeah, like for real. So again, man, prayers to Nolan Wells, man. Justice for Nolan Wells, because we do want to see justice. We do want to see the answer. I feel like for me, it's all about knowing what's correct, what's the answer. But other than that, you got anything for him, Rain?
No, just make sure y'all tune in Sunday as well to Same Soil, Different Roots right here on the Raw Society Network, Souls of Thoughts. And we will be live on Facebook as well, because that's where Miss Lancaster, she does most of her communication is through Facebook. Like, she's really putting out the information on Facebook. So we're going to live stream over on our Facebook page as well. So make sure y'all come join us, listening to the Malachi story. And we're going to hopefully get that story back out there to where Florida will reopen the investigation into the unusual circumstances of his death. We're going to say that. Yeah. Go ahead. My bad.
I'll just answer. It's going to be 5:00 Eastern and then 4:00 Central Standard Time. Jay Lloyd. So everybody who's able to see it on the screen, take a screenshot. It's also on the Facebook as well of the Raw Society Network. Also, Miss Sophia just actually shared out the post as well today. So if you're on Facebook, Instagram, we posted it on YouTube. We're going to have this live show supporting the Lancaster family. It's their fight for justice, man. So the mom, Miss Sophia, is going to be up, and it's going to be 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And like I said, the floor is going to be hers. We got to talk to her yesterday just to let her know as well that, hey, we're here to just allow you to share your story for more people to hear it. Don't really have any crazy questions or anything of that nature, but she is open to questions. She says she's open to answering questions. So you guys might have an opportunity to do that. Only thing I ask is that everybody be respectful.
Definitely, yes.
This case still is ongoing. It has not been closed. And she has all the details, all of it. And you can see it all. Me and Rain have really looked into it, did a lot of research on it. And this one really doesn't make sense. No. But again, our goal here on the Raw Society Network is to bring voices to those who others might not see. And I always tell everybody, if there's a case or something that you feel going on in your local area or something that ain't making mainstream news, but you know how to get in contact with the person, we'll have them come on, man. I'm all about people sharing their story. I will tell you, Soul's gonna keep it straight with you now. Facts are facts.
Definitely.
Facts are facts here. Now
facts over feelings all day.
Yeah. So
what are the emojis at? And put the emojis.
Yeah, he said cases with no media coverage has my heart. Yeah, it's a lot of them out there, man. So again, man, shout out to everybody who's been with us tonight. Jay Lloyd, make sure you hit us up in that email, Big Dog. I'm hoping you a male because I'm up here saying Big Dog and everything. But hit us up in the email as well. And we look forward to talking with you, man. And hopefully we can have you up for one of our live showings. So, but we appreciate everybody who has tuned in. I'm going to let Miss Rain do the closing, and we're going to keep this up so you guys can see the show for this Sunday.
Of course, we appreciate everybody being here tonight. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. Make sure you share this out with somebody who might find it informational, interesting as well. So tonight,
I got one thing, Rain.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I do have. Okay, see, that's why I said I'm a female. Okay, got it. Like I was like, I'm up here just saying big dog, this, big dog, that. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I'm up here. I'm like, I ain't even know because Jay could be anything.
Oh, yeah.
So shout out to you, ma'am. My bad. I just wanted to add. But I will tell you guys, I said it last night. I want to tell you guys again. If Carmelo Anthony gets his trial, I will be boots on the ground at least 2 days of the trial. I'm gonna get out there and go and get me a seat in the courtroom. Shout out to the fit lawyer of ATL. She pretty much gave the playbook of how to get your seat. You got to get there about 4 a.m. just to get your card. They're letting 40 people inside of the courthouse, and then they're letting 150 into the overflow room. No electronics can be brought in by anyone, but of course you can bring a note, pen, and pad, take notes, and listen to the case live. So I will be doing that if he gets a case. So just remember that. She said it's all good. I got thicker skin than that. Appreciate it. My bad. Go ahead, Ray.
So after all the interviews, after all the headlines, after all the personalities that have attached themselves to this story, one name still has to remain at the center. Nolan Wells. Tonight wasn't about declaring parents right or wrong. It wasn't about making Pastor Jamal Bryant, Ben Crump, the Cajun Navy, or anybody else the villain. It was about asking whether the pursuit of justice is becoming overshadowed by the people and platforms surrounding it. Because justice shouldn't depend on who has the biggest microphone. Truth shouldn't change depending on who gets the interview. And questions shouldn't suddenly become disrespectful simply because they're uncomfortable. If new information challenges something we previously believed, then we have a responsibility to examine it. If information supports the original narrative, we examine that too, because this cannot become team family versus team friends. It has to remain team truth. The interviews will eventually stop. The cameras will eventually move on. The tour will eventually end, but Nolan's family still deserves answers. And Nolan will still deserve the truth. So the question we leave with you tonight isn't simply, who do you believe? It's something much harder. How much are we willing to let the pursuit of a narrative cost the pursuit of justice? Same soil, different roots, and until the facts give us answers, we keep asking the questions.
Yeah. Sometimes the loudest room still don't have the answers. Everybody got a microphone now. But who's still listening for the truth? How much does justice cost? How many tears before something gets lost? Mama's still searching, daddy's still strong. Whole world talking, but something feel wrong. Everybody came when the cameras roll, but who gon' stay when the story gets old? If truth got a price, tell me what does it cost? We searching for Nolan, can't let him get lost. Another interview, another city, another person saying that they standing with me. Pastor got the questions, family got the pain, but every time we listen, something seems to change. Lawyers in the picture, cameras in the room. Everybody promising the truth is coming soon. Then another voice comes speaking from the side. Now we gotta separate the feelings from the lies. I ain't choosing teams, I'm choosing what is real. Cause grief can make you question everything you feel. And fame can make a tragedy become somebody's stage, while a family's still waking up, carrying that weight. So tell me who stays when everybody leaves? Who wants the truth even when it hurts what they believe? How much does justice cost? How many tears before something gets lost? Mama's still searching, daddy's still strong. Whole world talking, but something feel wrong. Everybody came when the cameras roll. what does it cost? We searching for Nolan, can't let him get lost. Same soil, different rules, we see it different ways. But facts don't need permission and truth don't need praise. Don't care about the messenger, show me what you know. Don't give me another head. Yeah. Deep-rooted conversations, real talk, real words, real us, souls. Soft rain, no middleman between the truth. I can see it in your eyes, you got it. Pain got your heart moving cautious. Different worlds but the same kind of scars here. Different roads but somehow we still crossed it. Mad cause the world never listened right. Mad cause your truth always turned